Hello and welcome to another episode of Take Flight Trin, and for this episode I am in Wales, in Cardiff to be specific. And one thing I did want to say is I know it is a lot farther from March than I had planned to post this video, and I'm very sorry, but when I got back from break things got really crazy and now I'm home from Italy, so this is my Cardiff, Wales video. Library. Excuse me? It is so nice. Hey y'all. So I'm in Wales officially. I've been for a little bit, but I'm going over to Butte Park, and then I'm going to go over to the old library, so I'll take you along with me. In Butte Park, there are a lot of signs like this. They just tell you which direction things are going, and I thought they were really cute, so I took a video of it. So when I got there, I walked along the river and there were a lot of flowers blooming, and it was really sunny, and I looked out really well with the weather. So that was exciting. And I walked along the river, which was very fun because I could hear the sounds of the river and stuff, which were very beautiful to me because I like the sound of running water. And as I was walking, it was just there was a slight breeze, which was very nice, and it wasn't too cold that day, and it was very good weather for what I was doing, which I was very excited about because when I looked at the weather report, it was supposed to be pouring rain the entire time I was in Wales, so I was upset, but I knew that I would find something to do while I was there if it did rain, but it didn't while I needed to do this, so I was very excited. There were a lot of very nice people who I met along the way. There was someone who was riding their bike and they stopped to let me take pictures. Another family asked me if I wanted any suggestions of things to do for the rest of the day and if I was enjoying my time, and everyone was very nice. So someone did suggest that I take a picture here, which I did because it was very beautiful, and you could see all of the trees were just starting to bloom, and you could see the mountains in the background and just across the river. And this was the bridge, and from the other side you could see the sun and the stadium in the background. Again, here's a still photo of the flowers and such that I was able to see, which were all very nice. So on the ground and on all of their signs, it's all in Welsh and English, which I thought was really cool. They also had bird facts and facts about the path, the trees, the birds, pretty much everything. They had facts for kids who were walking around, maps everywhere so you didn't get lost at all. This was another sign to tell you which direction you could go in, which I thought was really cool because it was very artsy, and it had all of the bugs. There was a totem pole and a lot of just sun, and the ground was very muddy, as you can kind of tell from the sides, but the grass was so green and so healthy, and the path and the park was just beautiful in general, which I loved. And some of the trees were blooming, some of them weren't. There were sculptures everywhere made out of wood. They were trees that were being planted, and it was just very historical, and everything was carved and everything had a meaning, and you could just really tell that they took a lot of time to do that and make their park special, and they made sure that you knew what was going on historically, why the stuff was there, what the importance of it was, and I really liked that. There was also this mini rock formation that I thought was really cool, and as I have said multiple times, the trees and everything were just gorgeous, and I couldn't help but want to stay and look around as much as possible because it was truly beautiful there. And I love to camp, and I used to camp a lot when I was little, and it just reminded me of being out in the woods and being out with nature and being in a park setting or a campground that was very nice. So another thing that's very famous in Cardiff is Cardiff Castle. and you can walk in and go to the gift shop alone without having to pay, which was really nice. And there was a really pretty dragon that was bright red, and you could also pay to go into the parts. So outside of the castle, they do have animals that are carved out of stone to symbolize protection and different things outside of the castle and for the castle. So there were otters, bears, warthogs, different types of birds, all different animals, and I thought that was really beautiful and cool because it was protecting the park and the castle, and it also had a sign that told you what each animal stood for, what each animal was meant to protect against. And I thought that the history behind that was really cool, because each animal, you wouldn't necessarily think of seals and bears together or monkeys in Cardiff, but they all have a significance, and I thought that was beautiful. And this is just outside of one of the sides of the park, and you can walk along it, take pictures, take videos. Some of them were broken, and some of it was a little more rustic and stained up a little bit because it is outside, and obviously the elements, it does rain a lot in the area, so obviously some of them were a little more worn than others, but overall they were all in very good condition, and they were all very, very interesting to look at and see and be able to go and look at. And there were actually a lot of kids walking by when I was filming this, and they were all so very, very like interested, and they were telling their parents or their teachers or whoever they were with, like, look at the whatever, look at this animal, like, it's so cool. And I thought that was very just wholesome to see, because they were so cute and they were so little, and they still were very interested in it, and the people who they were with were explaining it to them, which I thought was very nice as a whole, because it was pretty and it was meaningful. So that was outside of Cardiff Castle, and there were so many of them, and I wish that I could tell you more about all of them, because they were just truly magnificent and beautiful pieces. These are art sculptures that were created in 2006 in Cardiff, and they are seeds of different plants, and at night they light up. To a super secret location. This is a fountain, and I just thought it was really pretty. There's like sculptures around it. We're almost at our super secret location, and the last thing was the theater in Cardiff, which is a really big theater, and it's really cool. Also, this was a really cool watery sculpture, and I loved it. I got really wet though, and it went all over my jacket. And this is where we are. We're at the Wells Coastal Path, which is a dream of mine. So, I'm going to tell you what I've been talking about. There's a thing in Wales called the Welsh Coastal Path, and it's all along the coast of Wales. But since I only have basically only have today, I'm only walking a small portion of it. But I'm very excited, and I am almost there. Let's see if I can turn the camera around. I can't. So I'm gonna turn the camera around and then start videoing when I get there and video along the way. I'm going to, I believe it is pronounced Penarth, and there's a pier that overlooks the coast, so that's where I'm headed. case walking along the coastal path isn't enough exercise for you, they do have exercise equipment all along the coastal path. My favorite thing about this is, though, that there is an Olympics symbol here, which means that this is something that has to do with the Olympics. We're gonna go over here and read this sign. So it was inspired by the Olympics, and it is an exercise area by Adidas. So after that, I just kept walking, and I was enjoying the view, and it was so beautiful and really windy. I think I got windburn, but that's okay because it was amazing and beautiful, and I truly was very happy that I was able to do it because for a while, I know someone from Wales, a few people actually, and I've been looking into Wales for a while since I've known them, and when I found out about this, I knew it was something that I had to do. This says impossible is everything, and it just passed, but it was also at the Olympics thing, and more beautiful views. They were doing work on one of the bridges, and it was really scary because, like, they were up on, like, ladders and stuff, and, like, really, like, working on that bridge, and then they were like, okay, you can pass now, and they were, like, walking people across it, because they knew people wanted to go, and this was a very pretty path that was kind of like, you could go down a road, or you could go to this path, and I decided to take the scenic route, take the road less traveled, you know? So, road less traveled is very fun, and it was just truly beautiful, and you could see a lot, and this was just a part of a poem that was on the ground. I just finished walking the path and back. You can kind of see in the distance a cliff face. That's where I had ended up, and now I am going to get a ride back to where I'm going to shop for a little bit. After I had gotten a ride back to the shops, I decided to go to this little museum, which was adorable, and it had like the history of Wales and Cardiff and a lot of very historical stuff, and it was super cute. Upstairs there was also a place that you could eat, and it was in the old library, so I was able to see where that was, and the museum was free. And going back to the castle you did have to pay for, and there were many different memberships and stuff, but the castle you did have to pay for, but this was free. It was a very tiny one-room museum, and then the map of the history was in the tourism section. So I went to lunch at Milk and Honey, or at Lathe and Sugar, or Sugar. I'm learning Welsh, so I'm sorry if I did not pronounce that, but I had tea and a baked potato because I wanted a light lunch. I'm walking around and shopping, and I am thoroughly enjoying everything here. I just ate at a place called Milk and Sugar, and I had a baked potato and some carrots and some afternoon tea, and it was just delicious and amazing. This was actually art in a pole that protects the walking area from traffic, and it was just in the middle of the city, and so if you're walking anywhere, be careful where you're looking and look out for stuff like this. It's so cool. It's a bit rainy today, and it's my last day here in Wales. I'm walking along the river to go shopping one last time. I should have bought what I was going to buy yesterday because I didn't know if it was going to be rainy or not, and it's like a 15-minute walk to the shop that I need to go to. That's okay, because I get to be out here one more time, and I love it. I'm also going to go get food at a place called Garland's, and they are supposed to have traditional Welsh food, so I'm going to go eat there for brunch. I had a little bit of breakfast. There should be a picture somewhere if I can figure that all out, but if not, I'll just put it in before or after this slide. I had toast, and they didn't have any jam I liked, so I decided to just put honey on it. It wasn't the best, but it was interesting, and I probably wouldn't try it again. that was my choice. And I also had cranberry apple juice because they had cranberry and apple juice, so I decided to mix both together. This is honestly really bittersweet. I've loved it here this whole time I was here. Everyone is so nice and sweet, and they all pretty much ask you if you need anything and if they can help you, and they're all just very friendly, and I'm very sad to leave. One other thing that's interesting is they're very big in Europe in general, but here especially, all along the bridge, there's graffiti, and it's actually really pretty. It's not like we have back home in America, where most of it looks like someone tried to like scribble on a wall. Unfortunately, I did have to leave Cardiff, but I was very excited to go to London, which will be my next video, so I just put a little bit of pictures of my ride going to London. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like, subscribe, comment, everything like that.